Well, it's about damn time. Hello, Internet! It has been a very long time since I've been back. I apologize. Unfortunately, due to illness and a stroke of midterms, I have been left with less than adequate time and ability to do filming. But I'm back. Although it has been some time since I've done a video, I thought at the very least I owe you an apology and a quick explanation. I'm very grateful for all my new subscribers. Hello, all of you. And, well, without further ado, let's get on to what you came to this video for. Now, I know I've already talked about magic in our worlds when we're crafting a story, or perhaps even a new RPG. That is more so the ideals and basics of magic, though. This video is more so on how your people should react to magic, because it is a terrifying thing if we think about it. Allow me to explain. You walk into the village. It's quiet. It's peaceful. Morning is rising as the sun glistens through the thatch roofs. The ice on what few trees around remain begins to glisten. People go about their daily business. You can see a guard, a bit tired perhaps. It seems like he's done an all-nighter. He rubs at his eye lazily and nods to you. In the far distance you can see what you came here for. A small manor to what seems to be a minor lord. You just finished his contract. There's a bit of a scuffle, though, ahead. You hear some arguing from inside the manor. Something about a book? You move in closer, trying to get a better vantage point to hear. You hear a loud crack. And fire bursts from the windows. You can hear screaming from the inside. You can see the charred corpse of a man wander out the door. Your ears are ringing, and you can look around you as the thatched roofs of all the buildings begin to catch fire. It's panic everywhere. The first corpse falls from the window, and out after it comes a man, unscathed from the fire, dressed in long flowing robes, a mage. This is a little synopsis I meant to run for my next RPG group, and I think it perfectly illustrates why people in your world should be terrified of mages. The mage I'm describing in this story was only level 5, given access to a ubiquitous spell, which I think you all know, Fireball, the equivalent of essentially a small bomb. Mages, unlike other people, do not need a sword or even years of training to kill not only a single man, but dozens, with nothing but a crack of their fingers. Now, I can already hear some of you arguing, but wizards take quite a while to train. Clerics must be in debt to their god. They must pray to their god, and surely gods would not allow their followers to do such horrendous deeds. And to that, I simply say, not all gods are good, and the ideals of justice can easily be skewed. Something that always confused me and frustrated me when I played in my early years of D&D was how calm everybody was when they realized a mage was entering the town. A few children would look and gasp in awe at the mage with his long, strange robes and his tome filled to the brim with strange writing and spells and incantations. And we even see this in The Lord of the Rings. People are happy to see Gandalf, especially the children. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's a game, and we can do what we like. And honestly, that's true. We can. It's our world, so we can design it as we will. Perhaps magic is ubiquitous. But if we want to take our world a few steps further, you have to come to acknowledge mages are incredibly dangerous. So then, what do we do when we have come to that conclusion, and that we have decided we want to acknowledge in our worlds just how dangerous mages are? Well, unfortunately, it leads to very dark and much more grim sides of fantasy. So please understand that this little video might not be the best advice for your world. The first thing we need to acknowledge is that mages, on their own and left to their own devices, can lead to unimaginable damage. Could you imagine what a wizard with a fireball spell could do as a bandit? A single man with a fireball spell could hold up an entire caravan if he wanted. He could flatten an entire block. So, what do we usually see in worlds that acknowledge the dangers of mages like this? What are some of the options we have? The first option is to restrict these more dangerous and damaging spells. Similar to how in modern day we restrict the use of high explosives, or heavy machine guns, or artillery pieces, or tanks, often only giving access to them to those that are in the military, and a select few people who, perhaps for legal reasons or due to the job that they undertake, have the legal ability to use these weapons, or in our case, spells. A good way of explaining this might be perhaps a council of mages who have convened and decided on what spells should be available at local institutions of magic. Another way of doing this perhaps would be a government crackdown on the types of spell scrolls that are available to mages, or even something as so simple as simple laws banning the use of these spells, which, let's face it, will likely be broken. An interesting facet of this might be the counter movement against this. Mages believing that, no, why should this be banned? Or, worse yet, believing that perhaps the people that ban these spells are doing so in the name of tyranny, especially if it's a government-mandated ban on those spells, giving those spells only to the military. The second option we have available, which is quite common, would be making mages, or whatever kind of magic user you have, agents of the state. This works particularly well in your worlds where usually everything is run by a single government. And the idea behind it would be that although the use of magic isn't exactly banned per se, the education is extremely regulated and is only possible through the state. We see some good examples of this in the Warhammer universe, especially in the Empire and the High Elf Imperium. Another example would be Full Metal Alchemist, a series which, by the way, I love, shows a world where alchemists, which, let's face it, are a form of mages, are essentially soldiers of the military. By joining the military, they are given access to spells, education, and technology that is otherwise not available to the common mage. Often, if the state feels that they are being threatened by a particular mage or a group of mages, they will bash down on it, as we see also in the Witcher universe in Nilfgaard, where mages are kept on an extremely tight collar and are essentially not given free will in just about anything. But honestly, that is in the extreme, and does follow in to the third option, the enslavement of mages. This is a very grim option, in all honesty, but is perhaps one of the more safer options for your world if you really do want to go down this route. The idea behind enslaving mages would essentially revolve around the tools that allow the people in your world to subdue mages, preferably at a young age, educating them and brainwashing them to a point where they will be loyal to you, or outright taking away free will from them. We see this option in Dragon Age with the Templars, who often will take young, aspiring mages and they will use less than adequate HR approaches to gain the loyalty of these mages, often using scare tactics or brainwashing, or in some cases, tranquility, taking away their full ability to feel emotion and to cast magic, of course, entirely. We also can see in 40k this kind of enslavement of mages. In the 40k universe, psychers, or their version of mages, will often become property of the state, brainwashed into loyalty to the God Emperor of mankind, and essentially used as weapons, often against other psychers. In this enslavement sort of world, the entire purpose is to restrict mages. It's a very grim idea, And there is almost certainly going to be counter movements against the enslaving force. People will not like their liberties being taken away from them, even in a feudal world. This is a bit extreme. But all of these provide a very interesting new touch to your world. It adds in politics, it adds in ethics, and it adds in a very interesting philosophical argument. Does the safety of the many outweigh the liberty of the few? Ask this question of your players when next you make a world and you involve mages. Because mages are dangerous and more powerful than any king or hero. All it takes is for them to level up to level 5, then 10, then 15, until finally at 20, they can change the fabric of your world entirely. I'm sorry to leave this video on a bit of a grim ending, but I think this is a very interesting subject, and I had a lot of fun thinking this video over several times. And honestly, despite trying to put this in my game on multiple occasions, I never have gotten it right. Maybe you will. I want to hear your opinions down below. What would you do if you were a ruler of a kingdom to stop the power of mages? Did I miss something? Do you have a better idea? Do you have something more interesting, perhaps? Please, comment down below. My name is Michael. This is my channel, The Natural One, and it's damn good to be back. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.